After the huge twist at the end of last week, Irving, played by John Turturro, was noticeably absent from the severed floor. The rest of the MDR team was understandably bereft with Irving being fired from Lumon. In honor of Irving's sudden departure, the team requested a funeral to mourn his death and process his innie being forced to leave. Interestingly, Miss Huang, Sarah Bock, told Milchick, Trammell Tillman, the innies weren't people, and she couldn't understand why they were grief-stricken or required a funeral for Irving. Nonetheless, Irving's funeral went ahead with Dylan, Zach Cherry, giving some words of wisdom as he regretted not taking his friends seriously at Woe's Hollow. Milchick told Miss Huang about the bereavement kits, which were in a store cupboard. This begs the question, why does Lumon have bereavement kits in the first place? Some fans already took to Reddit to discuss this plot point, with one person posting, "One of my favorite things about Severance is its unexpected quirky left turns in the middle of an otherwise dramatic or poignant scene. Case in point, the Irving B. watermelon head and coffee mug, party favors, during his funeral service." A second said, "Irv mug is also in the opening credits for this season. Notice they had mugs of all the MDR crew inside that storage room, so they have supplies for the bereavement kits in case anyone dies." Even Helly, a third Redditor, said, "This would suggest this isn't the first innie funeral Lumon has hosted, and in fact there are kits in case any of the others leave." Then again, P.T. Yul Vasquez never got a funeral when he unexpectedly left Lumon in Season 1. Fans have previously asked about what happens if someone dies on the floor at Lumon, with Milchick telling him, "Things like deaths happen outside of here. Not here. A life at Lumon is protected from such things." This would suggest, if people do die at Lumon, it would probably get covered up. Others have been wondering about what happens with the death of an innie. One audience member said, "The innie actually doesn't die, they just never wake up again. I believed Mark's innie experienced death when Milchick fired his innie and pushed him back up the elevator." A few seconds later, the elevator opened back up and Mark was once again on the severed floor. Mark's outie didn't expect a thing. He said, "Good night," to Judd even though it was still before 10 a.m. "I don't think outies fully understand their innies dying." Another simply commented, "I guess the outie will never find out." A third wrote, "Milchick says things like death are protected against at Lumon, if you take it at face value. I think we will eventually touch on death and revolving and resurrecting and goats." A fourth added, "My take on what Milchick said is that the innies are somehow stored on those chips, their conscience so to speak.